Good morning, everybody. This is Emily from Grammy's Garden. If I sound like I got a lot of energy, not so much, but I think it's probably like 6 something, 6:15, 6:20 in the morning, and I've just pulled the last of my beets, and that made me real happy because I can can those this morning. I'm going to pickle them all, and then I'm going to, probably before I do that, I'm going to plant some pickling cucumbers. My other cucumbers are not pickling, but I have always pickled with them. But I want to try pickling, and our growing season here in Zone 6A in Central Missouri will support these cucumbers through till I have a harvest off of them, a good amount of harvest, I think. So we stay pretty hot until the end of September. We'll cool down, like we're cooled down right now. We're in the mid 60s this morning. So anyway, I'm going to show you all kind of what I'm doing, just kind of what I'm doing today. Just snippets of things. But I just wanted to kind of touch base. It's a beautiful day. It's gorgeous out here. I'll turn it around and you can look at it. So here's my task at hand. Over there's my little dog Sissy, who's going to be 17. Y'all have heard me talk about her. And she means a whole lot to me. So here's my beets. This is a gorilla cart full of beets, and this is my second time that I've pulled them. I let some continue to grow whenever I pickle beets, probably 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I think they've had an additional 3 to 4 weeks. So it's a jungle here. I apologize, but I'm going to show you the mess. I don't know if this is blight for sure on my cherry tomatoes. These are sweet cherry 100s, but they are certainly just continuing to produce. I picked them yesterday, picked the ripe ones off because my great-granddaughter loves cherry tomatoes, and she was here. So if you saw my short yesterday with the goldfinch, this is the plant the goldfish was on. That little frog back there lights up at night. It's solar, and its little belly lights up, and my great-granddaughter gave me that a couple years ago. Actually, her family bought it and gave it to me, but it was from her. I have random things here. I have bell peppers there. I have such a huge amount of bell peppers frozen from last year, but I appreciate everything that comes out. This is another type of sunflower. It's got probably 8 blooms on it. Down in here, I'm proud of this. I planted from seed. I started about probably 8 coreopsis and only 1 took. But anyway, I'm glad to have it. In there's a huge sage that overwintered, even though we had minus 15 for some days. And I'm happy with that. Every year I've lived here, I've had to have me a grow bag of sweet potatoes. Even though I've got canned ones on the shelves, and I've still got some that overwintered, and now they're in summer and they're still good. They have stayed that good. And then here's a look at what's my little bit of paradise back here. Does that look like paradise to you guys? It could look like a real mess. It's a jungle, but it just keeps on trucking and keeps on producing. So I'm going to sit down and start working on these. I'm going to take the tops off of them, and then I'm just going to flood this gorilla cart with some water. And when I do that, I'm going to wash them right out here. So I don't like to put dirt down my plumbing. And I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get to pickling these. But I think before I pickle these, I'll go out and pick my green beans. They've not been picked in a few days. It's the bush beans. My pole beans, on the right side here of this cattle panel, let me zoom in here for you. On the right side of the cattle panel, you might see there's a zucchini in that box. And it's kind of met its better days. You're seeing its better days. However, do you see how dark and beautiful those leaves are? And there's a great big blossom in there. It's just not, it'll put out males and then no female blossoms, and vice versa. So that's okay, because zucchini is something that I like to cook with, but I don't ever feel the need to have a lot of zucchini available. Going up the cattle panel is Trail of Tear beans, Cherokee Trail of Tear. I didn't grow them last year. Let's see. No, I did grow them last year. Sorry about that. I have to stop and think. This is the third time I've grown them. I had peas there, and after the peas came out, the peas were going up the panel, not very far, but they did go up. And the reason I'm so crazy about having something go over the cattle panel is not only is it beautiful, but it's also, it gives me shade. Like, usually we have such high temps here in July. June was hotter than July, I think. So anyway, I'm wanting that arch to, and there's a pretty rooster. And do you see all those pretty weeds back there? When the roly-polies took over and ate like 90% of my beautiful strawberries harvest, I would have had gallons and gallons. I just let it go. Even though I have a blackberry in there that's just ramming right on through and pushing its way through, and it's gonna survive. It looks beautiful. On the other side of the cattle panel, I have zinnias, I have cucumbers, beautiful basil back there, right? That basil is just gone crazy. I'm letting it go to seed, and it's starting to bloom. I'm letting it do that. And right here, if I can capture it, a gorgeous honeybee. The honeybees just love it out here because I have a bird feeder, and those little guys, they take the feed away from my birds, my hummers. And I feed bees out in the backyard, out there near that post you see with the birdhouse. But anyway, they come up here and eat all their food too. So on this side of the cattle panel, to get back to my train of thought, I've got my coffee sitting here, I need it. That is Old Alabama, it's called Old Alabama butter beans. I had to stop and think of, because I've never grown them before. I've never grown butter beans, and I really like them. I'll probably be the only one who eats them, but I love them. So the Kennebecks are still hanging on, but they're getting to where I'm about ready to see what's under there. Going to be even more than I had with the red sodas, I can tell, and that was a great harvest. I'll just give you another little look here. Over here are more Kennebecks in that grow bag. I love growing potatoes and sweet potatoes in grow bags. And behind that, that is broccoli that I let go to seed after I had all I needed off of that. And I put zinnias everywhere if I can, and marigolds. You can't see too well, but right in there, that is butternut squash, and on the other side there's watermelon. So the tomatoes are in the background. My tomatoes are a real flop this year. I hate to say it, real flop. And that's probably one of my favorite things to take out of the garden. But anyway, can you all hear the crow? He's just carrying on over there. So I'm going to sit down and do this, and then I'll show you what I have at the end. Okay, I've got everything on a roll now, except this one right here is not on a roll yet, but it will be. I have more beets than I thought. So my recipe, if you want to go back to my, I canned beets last year and the year before, but I put in the description box, I did put down the exact measurements I did. I don't know if I did per pound. This is a recipe for 7 pounds. And back here on the back burner, that's sugar, vinegar, water, and I've got some cinnamon in there. It called for cinnamon sticks. I didn't have them. And that's what I usually do, is just put some cinnamon, ground cinnamon. And then I've got cloves in it. And because I like the clove taste in the beets, I have a couple down in each jar that I've prepared. And I'm getting ready to cut up onions, and I'm going to put them directly in the jars. When these get to be fork tender, or where I could put a knife in them and it's not too much resistance, I don't want them to be anywhere near falling apart. I want them to stay firm. When they're like that, I'm going to drain them, put them in cold water, and then I'll just slip the skins off of them after they've been in the cold water a bit. That's not really a hard thing to do. So that's where I'm at. And 9:16, that's not bad. I should be done with the whole process by 11. I'll check the time, because then I load them in the canner and water bath them. So we'll follow up on these.